Item 6D, adopt resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with West Yost Associates for the design of the Sweeney Ridge Tank 7 replacement project in an amount not to exceed $842,150, and approve the appropriation of $393,810 from the Water Fund.
Mr. Tan.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. Last item for tonight for me here. This is the award of contract to West Yost Associates to perform the design of the Sweeney Ridge water tank. And the presentation, it's very similar to the two other presentations that you saw a while ago here. Give you a background of the water system, consultant selection process, and go over some of the scope of work for the project, schedule and budget, alternatives, and recommendations. So the city's distribution, is the same. 11 pressure zones, 120 miles of pipelines, 8 storage tank pump stations, 26 pressure regulating stations, and 4 active groundwater wells. And this project was also identified in the 2012 Water Master Plan for replacement. The project location here. Here's a picture, that kind of shows the project location. The tank is located at an elevation of about 1,250 feet, surrounded by land controlled by Golden Gate National Recreation Area. And then the tank gets its water from pump station number 2 through the existing 14-inch steel pipeline. So in order to access the tank, it would be from the trail at the end of Sneath Lane and through the narrow, curvy paved road. So here's the another perspective that shows the tank, the difference, in tank elevation to the residential neighborhood, that you see down there below. The existing 14-inch water tank that was built was also built along the hillside, making it very difficult for staff to access and repair during the main breaks. So the tank, some information, it was constructed in 1955. It's 400,000 gallons capacity. Existing material is steel, and it has weathered over time due to the environment. And the existing tank will be replaced in its place with the pre-stressed concrete tank designed to meet the current seismic design codes as well. To select a consultant, we went through a similar process, issue by issue an RFP, which is back in April. That's when we did it. We received 3 proposals for this project and evaluated them based on the criteria that you see on the slide. We want to make sure that the firm has the qualifications related to the design of the water tanks and pipelines, and they also are efficient and effectively be able to complete the project as well. So based on a review of the proposals, we are recommending the project to be awarded to West Yost Associates. And the firm actually has a lot of experience regarding water tank replacement design, and they have done a lot of work for San Jose Water, Alameda County Water District, Santa Cruz, Woodland, St. Helena, Modesto. They also were the designer for the Glenview water tank, which was, again, replaced back in 2016. The scope of work and schedule is as follows. The firm will perform the evaluation for the environmental, determine what type of secret clearance is needed for the project. A geotechnical investigation or soil investigation will be performed. Seismic design is also included as part of the scope of work, along with corrosion design, tank design, and the firm will also be preparing the bid documents to be used for bidding and providing construction support during the construction phase. And optional services included for the preparation of a CEQA EIR or mitigated neck deck in case the scope of the environmental evaluation determines that it is needed. As for the schedule, the design is anticipated to take about 12 months. The construction phase would begin to last about 12 months as well. As for the budget, currently the city has a total of approximately $500,000 available, which is carried over from the fiscal year 1920 budget. And the initial budget in the 1920 budget was only for the tank design only, and which it didn't include the pipeline replacement, because due to the need to replace the pipeline, we are requesting additional appropriation for the project from the water fund. So there is adequate balance in the water fund to cover the appropriation for this project. As for the alternatives, very similar to the other 2 presentations, and the council can choose to a different firm for the project, or request staff to issue new requests for proposals as well. But the staff is recommending the award contract to West Yost Associates for the design of this tank. If that concludes my presentation, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions from council?
Through the chair, I have one quick question. Will this also be a 400,000 gallon tank too? The
Yes.
replacement of it? Is there something, why so far up there, up Sweeney Ridge? I mean, I just see, you look at that, I knew that tank was there. I had no idea it was a city of San Bruno tank. But in constructing a new tank, is it feasible to put it somewhere else that's on city property you're going to go through hoops, right? Just to the construction of that?
Yeah, so apparently that tank serves those residents that you see right next to the Lake Drive pump station there in that area. So, you can't really put the tank somewhere else because it needs elevation to be able to serve the customers. And the tank, was built in 1955. I heard that at one time it served a portion of Pacifica as well, is what I've heard. But that it's no longer serving Pacifica, but now it just serves San Bruno. And when I first started working here in the city, and I went to that tank, and I couldn't believe that it was up there too. And so it was just one of those things where it was just there. Way before our time, yeah.
Other questions, comments from council?
No, but it was before my time, too.
Anything else from council?
Through the chair.
Michael?
So items B and D are similar. They're both tank design contracts, but the price is pretty different. So can you just kind of give a few details on what makes the two projects that much different?
Sure. The previous one, the second project for tank number 1, is actually for construction management inspection and a peer review.
I think that's C. No, B and D are, I thought both design, and C was for construction management. There's a lot of these. I might have.
I know I have so many here too, but so C is for tank number 1, which is for the construction management and inspection, and as well as peer review.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
For D, this item here is for the design of the tank.
Of the tank.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm with you. All right. Thank you.
Welcome.
Anyone else? Marty?
What about that 14-inch steel main that doesn't have any corrosion protection on it? In the staff report, I was just curious how that could be possible. That is it extra thick that there's no anodes on it, there's no induced current on it, it's just sitting up there and it's 50, 65 years old, and it is what we got, clearly. And so this will include the design of the steel pipe as well.
That's correct.
And we have to go steel up there for seismic reasons? Is that why we're going steel up there?
The existing pipeline is steel.
Right.
The new pipeline hasn't been determined. The material hasn't been determined.
Okay.
But I think if we had to determine it, if we had to select a material, we would either go with ductile iron pipe or HDPE, which provides a little bit more flexibility during the seismic events.
And just thinking of how, when that tank goes out, how will those residents get their water?
So what I've heard, we've tried in the past, is when the tank is out of service, Lakeview Pump Station can run continuously.
It'll just stay.
It has to
just
continue
go.
to pump.
Okay, got it.
To be able to serve the resident through there, because currently the Lakeview Pump Station is the one that pumping to
And then it could
the
draw
Sweeney,
down.
and then it draws down and serves the customer. So the Lakeview Pump Station would have to continuously be in operation during this construction of the tank as well.
Got it, okay. Yeah, it's probably an interesting how that all developed and got approved, and here you have this tank way up. Anyhow, It is what we got. It's in the water master plan. It was evaluated that that needed to get done, and I would guess that they looked at alternatives to doing something different, but that was in 2013, right? So unfortunately, it's one of those expensive things that we have to deal with in this 100-year-old plus city. So I can support this.
Any other questions or comments? There's a requested action from Director.
I move that we approve the resolution. Thank you.
Second.
Councilmember Davis?
Aye.
Councilmember Medina?
Aye.
Councilmember Salazar?
Aye.
Vice Mayor O'Connell?
Aye.
Mayor Medina?
Aye. And before we move on to our last item, City Manager.
Oh, sure. Yes, I just wanted to thank staff for all the work to prioritize and move up these water projects. They're extremely needed. As we see, a number of our tanks are 55 to 65 years old, and it's sort of that utility that no one sees but is extremely important both for life safety, normal operations, and could have a catastrophic failure. So it's important that while the funds have been accumulating, that we push these forward, knowing that we have a lot of infrastructure that needs to get done. And so I know staff did a lot of work to get these projects to this stage, and will continue to work for their completion. And it's a significant amount of money. One project is $9 million, another project is nearly $6 million, and then another project is $3 million. And I also want to thank the council, because increasing water and sewage rates like you did really took a lot of courage, and there's a lot of pain being felt by the community, but it's absolutely needed, and we're moving forward with the project. So thank you both to staff and council for that.